It's overwhelming how much content is available to us. And in studying and learning and reading and watching videos and trying to accelerate or be as AI efficient, that's a thing, as you can be, is tough. It's tough to focus and tough to stick to a plan. Do you have any suggestions for individuals trying to do the same thing?
I personally would recommend getting some baseline level of knowledge in AI. I have a course, but there's free courses. I think it's helpful to have some sort of foundational understanding of what generative AI is, how a large language model works. It's just going to help you better understand how to use it effectively and the benefits and the risks. Especially if you're a manager, an executive, business owner, you're going to have to be making strategic decisions about AI. I think having some foundational knowledge will give you a better framework and foundation for those decisions. You probably going to miss things if you're just reading lots of one off articles. So, having some sort of structured content as a foundation, I think is really helpful. As far as keeping up with things, I actually just covered this in my newsletter a couple of weeks ago, how to keep up with AI when you're already overwhelmed. The biggest thing is to be clear on what your goals are. You need to be selective. You can't follow all of it. You need to be really selective about what your main goals are so that you can filter out the news and the sources that are really relevant to you. And to have those trusted sources of information that can do some of the curation for you. The last thing I would say is I actually think that it can be simpler than people make it. A lot of what I teach is focused on work. It is not focused on tools. It is so easy to get distracted and to try out new tools and capabilities rather than thinking about, oh, that's a cool tool. How could I use it? I recommend that people look at your day to day work that you have to get done and then figuring out how you can apply the right tools to continually become more efficient and continually upgrade and uplevel that work.
I love that last point. I've signed up for every newsletter under the sun to read daily and weekly updates in AI, which they're good. Then at the end, I'm just like, here's the latest tools. I start clicking through each one. I'm like, oh, that one's cool. That one's cool. And then I'm down a rabbit hole.
It's hard. It is valuable to keep an ear out, keep an eye out for what's possible. Because I think some of this is you don't even realize what's possible until you see some of these tools. That can open up some new ideas of things that you hadn't thought about. I think in general, it's better to start with the work itself. I also really think that for especially executives and business owners and entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, I think focus is going to be a competitive advantage in the future. That has always been true, but I think as we see just these cycles of technology just moving faster and faster, there's going to be so much distraction. There's going to be so many shiny objects. And the default will be to get distracted. So if you're able to focus, you're going to be ahead of the competition because you're focused on your goal and applying the right technology to your strategy.